Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and today's title is called Cow Chaos. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. Now they have gotten used to life in the wild and they want nothing to do with humans. To do with is what we're going to practice today. Use to do with to express relationships or lack thereof between things. It is preceded by the verbs have and want, often with words something and nothing. Let me explain. Don't worry. In my personal opinion, we're talking about this. Okay, to do with. 와 관계가 있는 or 관한. Alright, so we're talking about the relationship, the relations between things, or lack thereof, meaning there is no relation, or there's very little relation. So, if we look at this example, alright, a lot of that comedian's jokes have something to do with politics. 그 코미디언의 많은 농담은 정치와 관련이 있다. So, the relation between a comedian and these jokes usually have something to do with politics. He's a political comedian. Basically, what they're saying is that a lot of that comedian's jokes are political jokes. That's basically what they're saying here. Or another example, I want nothing to do with drugs. So, 나는 만약이랑 아무 상관없어. I don't care about it. I don't want to be connected with drugs. I don't want to be associated with drugs. I don't want to be, I don't want to touch drugs. So, when you're associated with something as well, should I? Associated with something. It has a similar, one more. These are the two. Let's put them in a different color. Too much yellow. Used to do with to express relations. So to do with, associated with, or lack thereof. Not to do with, not associated with. So I want nothing to do with drugs. Again, like I mentioned, 나는 마약이랑 아무 상관없고 그냥 관련되지 않으면 좋겠어요. I don't want to be known or connected with drugs. Okay, let's go on to 2번. And she has no idea she would go about slaughtering 20 cows even if she wanted to. She has no idea. She has no idea she would go about. So go about ing. Go about verb 동사 ing. To refer to the procedure for doing something. Let's look at the word procedure. Now, it doesn't mean 수술. It does mean 수술, but in this case it doesn't. 절차. But we're also talking about the way, the means, the manner of doing something. And basically that's like the 방법. Okay, these are the two words that you should, or few words that you should concentrate on. So, many college graduates have no idea about finding a new job. So, basically what we're saying here is 많은 대학 졸업생들이 어떻게 일자리를 구해야 할지 모른다. Alright? They don't know how to find a job, basically. What's the best way to go about learning to write Chinese characters? 한자 쓴 법을 배우는 가장 좋아하는 방법은 뭐예요? If we look at it here, they're very similar in meaning. Many college graduates have no idea how to go about finding a job. Many college graduates have no idea how to find a job. They're very similar in meaning. Same here. What's the best way to go about learning to write Chinese characters? What's the best way to learn about writing Chinese characters? Very, very similar in meaning. Okay, now let's move on to the language focus quiz. 1번. I think the movie has something to do with Something to do with. Remember something to do with. To be associated with, to be connected. Right? Let's say, I think the movie Inception has something to do with, I don't know, dreaming. Inception은 꿈을 꾸는 것과 관련이 있다고 생각해요. Or I want nothing to do with workplace drama. So let's highlight that. Nothing to do with, something to do with workplace drama. I want nothing to do with workplace drama. 저는 직장 드라마와 아무 관련이 없습니다. I don't want to be associated. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be a part of it. 3번. I wish I knew how to go about finding an easier way to make money. So 나는 돈을 버는 더 쉬운 방법을 찾는 방법을 알고 싶다. Alright. Go about finding. Go about finding, go about learning, etc. 4번. The best way to go about is to finding a lover is to wait. 애인을 찾는 가장 좋은 방법은 기다리는 것이다. To go about finding, to go about doing, to go about seeing, etc., etc. Alright, now let's move on to the further discussion. 1번. What would happen if the local authorities in Quebec simply allowed the cows to continue living in the forest? Do you think this is a good idea? Okay, so Quebec의 지방 당국이 소들이 숲에서 계속 살 수 있도록 허용한다면 어떤 일이 벌어질까요? 이것이 좋은 생각이라고 생각하세요? Maybe if they continue letting the cows live in the forest, they might destroy the forest, but they also might help the forest grow, because I know that cow manure, basically 소동, 똥, poo, is good for compost or helping plants grow, basically. They could also eat all the plants that are living within the forest and wreck the forest, but there could be pros and cons. You just have to depend on how many cows in one area, and if they can control where they are going. If they can continuously move them on from place to place to place, maybe that will help the environment. But if they stay in the one place for too long, maybe that will destroy the environment, I think. 2번. do government officials in your country often pass the buck when people need help? So basically we're talking about, do government officials put the responsibility onto someone else when the citizens need help? Yes and no. Let's take the most recent example of the disabled who are currently protesting on subways in order to get certain rights and benefits. The government has, I believe, come to certain agreements with the organization. However, they haven't fulfilled the organization's requests fully. So this has created this bad situation on subways. But I think the government is trying to pass the buck back onto the disabled. It's a very difficult situation to be in. I honestly think that most governments try and pass the blame onto somebody else rather than take responsibility unless it's blatantly clear that they are responsible for something bad happening. It's not unusual. Anyway, that wraps it up for today, and I'll see you on the next class.
Roam freely.
Roam freely.
Intentionally.
Intentionally.
Get used to.
Get used to.
Collide.
Collide.
Pass the buck.
Pass the buck.
Slaughter.
Slaughter.